Hello, welcome to Innovation Studios. Michael here. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the ways that you can save a whole ton of money on Brightline. Now, the reason why I'm doing this type of video is because last week I actually made a video comparing the economics of Brightline versus the automobile. And if you guys haven't seen that video already, I highly recommend that you guys do, because the results of that might shock you. And also, I've already made like 3 other videos before that actually explain more in detail about what Brightline is. So yes, I highly recommend that you guys if you haven't seen these 4 videos, I highly recommend that you guys watch those videos before you watch this one. But anyways, let's get started with this video. So one of the ways that you can save money on Brightline is their promo codes. If you actually go to like a section of their website, and I'll include the link to that in the description of this video, there are so many promo codes that you can choose from. It's just unbelievable. And the awesome thing is that Brightline always changes up, like what types of promo codes that they offer. The one that I used when I went on this train was Go Smart, which actually took off 25% off of your ticket. So that was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, as of the moment I make this video, it's not available anymore, but they got ones where basically you can have kids ride with you for free, and you can also have a friend ride with you for free as well. So that's awesome. So yeah, just definitely check the through their website and see which promo code applies to you the best. But this is actually not the #1 way to save a heck of a lot of money on Brightline. Believe it or not, it's actually their business and commuter passes. And I know some of you guys are probably really shocked about that right now, because like when you look at the prices, these passes cost like in the hundreds of dollars, and they only serve for like a monthly basis. But I'm actually going to show you guys with some like relatively simple math that actually these prices are actually a heck of a deal when you use these things. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to use the lowest prices that Brightline does for their regular ticket prices, because their ticket prices are interesting where they change depending on what time of the day it is. So in rush hour, you can expect the ticket prices to be expensive, while during like not so like crowded times, the ticket prices are very low. And I'm going to use those ticket prices to compare to the business passes and stuff to give you guys how much of a savings these passes really are. The lowest ticket prices that I have found for Smart Class is $15, for Smart Plus is $21, and for Select Class is $27. And if you add the $8 parking with all that, then Smart comes up to $23, Smart Plus comes to $29, and Select comes to $35. Now, the length of the Brightline system is around 66.29 miles. So, if we take Smart's $23 and divide it by 66.29 miles, then it should come out that it costs roughly 34 cents per mile in order to travel on the lowest price ticket for Brightline. So, if we do the same calculations for Smart Plus, it should be around 43 cents, and for Select, it should be around 53 cents. So now that I calculated how much does the lowest price regular tickets for Brightline cost during non-rush hour, I think it's time that I move on to calculate how much does their monthly passes cost. So I'm going to start off by calculating the cost of their business class. This is the one where basically you're given 50 one-way packs, and you can choose between Smart and Select class. And before I forget, Smart is basically their regular passenger class, while Select is the first class of the train. Anyways, like I was saying before, their business passes consist of like 50 one-way tickets, and they offer it in 2 different prices. $650 for the city version of it, and $850 for the all-access version. From what I can gather, the difference between the city and all-access version is that city can only allow you to go between 2 different cities. Between West Palm Beach or Fort Lauderdale, or Fort Lauderdale to Miami, and that's it. You can't go from from what I assume, Miami to West Palm Beach. But I think you can absolutely do that with the all access pack, where you can go to between Miami and West Palm Beach, and if you choose to, you can go to Fort Lauderdale as well. However, it's the one that costs $850, while the city pack or city version of this business pack costs $650. There's one thing that I'm not certain about, and I try to contact like a Brightline agent to ask this question, but as of the moment I make this video, they haven't responded back to me yet. But I'm not so sure if these 2 prices includes parking as well. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to assume that these prices include parking. I'm going to start off by calculating the city version of this business pack first. So if we take $650 and then divided it by the 51 ways, then it comes to roughly that you will pay around $13 for each one of these trips. Now, I'm not going to use the 66.29 miles in order to, determine how much does it cost per mile for this thing, because again, this is only between the two cities, So I'm actually going to take the average distance between the stations in order to make this calculation. And I think this is relatively straightforward since there are only like 3 stations for Brightline, 2 at each end and only 1 in between. All we need to do is just to take the 66.29 miles and divide it by 2, and that should get us 33.145 miles as the average distance between each of the Brightline stations. So if we take $13 and divide it by 33.145 miles, then we should get around 39 cents per mile if you decide to use the city version of the business pack. So moving on to the all-access version of the business pack, if we take $850 and then divide it by 50, you should get around $17. And in this case, since you are able to go between Miami to West Palm Beach with this thing, I'm going to calculate the entire length of the system. So 17 divided by 66.29 should come around 26 cents per mile if you decide to use the all-access version of the business pass. Already, this is a pretty good deal for Brightline because as I showed you guys before, the regular, if you try to get the select class regular way as the lowest price, it's around 53 cents per mile. Definitely a lot more than 39 cents and 26 cents per mile. But actually, even then, I'll actually show you the commuter pass is, after you do the calculations, you'll find out that this is actually the best deal out of them all. So let's do that. Like the business packs, the commuter passes offers 2 different types, city and all access. And the difference between these two versions is identical to the ones that occurred in the business packs as well, with the city version costing around $350 and then the all access version costing $450. Now, the reason why these tickets are so much cheaper than the business packs is because these are a lot more limited in the options that you could ride on Brightline. These things only allow you to ride for 1 round trip per weekday. You cannot ride it during like weekends, and you cannot do 2 round trips in one day. You can only do it once, which kind of sucks, but the price is absolutely worth it, and I'm going to show you guys that. Since there are 5 work days per week and 4 weeks in a month, if we take 5 times 4, it should come to around 20 round trips that you're probably going to do if you decide to use these pass. So starting off with the city version of the commuter pass, if we take 350 and divide it by 20, it should come to around $17.50 per round trip. And speaking of round trips, I'm going to double up the 33.145 miles back to 66.29 miles in order to account for the round trips that this pass is going to use. So if we take $17.5 per round trip and divide it by 66.29, the total distance covered by a round trip on Brightline, it should come to around 26 cents per mile. Now moving on to the all access pack, if we take 450 and divide it by 20, it should come to around $22.50 per round trip. And you're going to take that number and divide it by the distance of a round trip between Miami and West Palm Beach. So if we take 66.29 miles and times it by 2, you should get 132.58 miles. If we take $22.50 and divide it by that amount of miles, then you should get around 70 cents per mile, which is actually in fact the best deal that Brightline offers, because out of all the prices that I have calculated for Brightline, the all access version of the commuter pass has the lowest price of them all. So Brightline definitely offers a lot in terms of like savings and all that with their promo codes. And in fact, they also offer like a train to cruise package as well. But I'm not too like familiar, like because I haven't been on a cruise yet. I'm planning to in the future, and maybe I'll make another video talking about the savings that you can get with this train to cruise package. But anyways, but as of what I found out so far, the all-access version of the Commuter Pass is the best deal that you can get out of Brightline. So if you happen to live in West Palm Beach, or and you want to commute to Miami often on Brightline and all that stuff, definitely go for this pass because it's definitely worth the money. And the same thing can be said for like anybody who's from Miami and regularly commutes to West Palm Beach. You definitely should use this pass instead. It will save you a whole heck of a lot of money. The only disadvantage with using the all-access version of the Commuter Pass is that it is not offered in a Select class. You can only use it in Smart. So if you guys are looking to find a very cheap way to ride Select class regularly, then look no further than the all-access version of the Business Pass. So anyways, I hope you guys found this video very useful and very interested in like riding Brightline at very good cost and everything. Brightline is truly a great company, where they basically offer so many deals and a lot of fun things to do, in order to pass a lot of savings to the customer, and it's just awesome. It's definitely a very good train service, and that's why I wanted to create this video in order to show you guys, the things that Brightline does to save their passengers a lot of money. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time.